Now, here's a question I would ask. We have soldiers that are going, we're not retaining them. They're going out faster than they're coming in some situations. It's a normal attrition. Some people want to go do what they want to do in life. Thank you for your service. Continue mission. Got it. But others, they want to get out because of maybe poor leadership. They want to get out because they don't feel heard. They want to get out because they haven't been seen. How do you answer that question of those difficult topics that you look at from as high as they are in the National Guard, in the state of Nevada? You two sit at the top of the hill and you look at those things and how can we correct them? Or what are we doing to correct them?
Well, I would say, first of all, that's where we need your help. That's where we need to listen to the soldiers and airmen that are out there and really meet them where they are. We want to go out and meet you where you are in order to really understand that. Because when it comes to leadership, when it comes to providing good leadership, strong leadership, not providing toxic leadership, we have to ensure that not only are we keeping an eye on and focusing on that first and second term airmen, we have to be focusing on the senior NCOs. We have to be focusing on the company grade officers that are leading those people. And they're still growing and they're still learning. And that's where we at the top of the leadership team have to get out there and really engage as a leadership team, not just the soldiers and airmen in their first and second term. We have to engage in the company grade officer realm, in the senior NCOs. We have to ensure that the sergeants majors and the chiefs they have the resources they need to be successful for retention. And that's one of the things that we're always looking at, we're always trying to refine, we're always trying to get better at.
And your question is real. And I think it's fair for both of us to say, all three of us to say, that there's some times in our career that we have worked for a leader that may not have been conducive or top notch or had our best interest in mind. It's fair to say that. And so, and in the position I sit in, I think about that a lot and have thought about that a lot. Coming into this role as the Adjutant General, we had 4 strategic priorities. One was, we talk about readiness, we talk about care for members, families, and employers. We talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Then we talk about community. One we added on was development, because everything rises and falls on good or bad leadership. And heard said before many times, everybody wins when a leader gets better. So we've invested a lot into leadership. We've invested a lot into coaching. We've invested a lot into developing our workforce. Beyond PME, one of the most important lessons I learned a long time ago is somebody drew 2 circles. One circle it was influence, and it said, which circle do you live in? The circle of concern or the circle of influence? And a lot of times I will spend concerned about a situation versus what I can influence. And you can lead from anywhere. And that's why development is so important. Where are you going to spend time? And again, I take for real in terms of somebody who works for a leader that's not very well. But when you spend more time in influence, your circle tends to grow. The other thing I will say is change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Change is going to happen. If you look at our organization, if you look at our different, whether it be a company, group, battalion, whatever it may be, you will see a lot of change happens in our organization. And what you find is, if you can stick with it, if you have the resilience, if you're developing yourself, you will see the organization gravitate towards really putting leaders in great places. So, and you get a chance to impact that. So I don't minimize what people say of not maybe working for a good leader, but I do tell them, part of the growth process, because you can learn from anybody. Part of the growth process is to grow and learn in the situation that you're in. But one of the things about the military is you're going to work for numerous leaders. And one day, you hang in there, you're going to be the one responsible. You're going to be the one in charge. You're going to be the one touching people. You're going to be the one developing people. And take all those lessons that you have acquired along the journey. And I tell you, if once you've been in about 4 to 6 years, That's when you start to develop a foundation of thinking. I always say this: when I find a good leader, they know how to identify and solve problems. When they find a problem, they own it, and then they have an urgency about getting it done. You will be one of those identify and solve. You'll be one of those critical thinkers. You'll be one of those decision makers. You'll be one of those responsible for people, which is there's no higher calling than that. And so go back to asking yourself this question, no matter what the situation, no matter who the leader is, what is life teaching me right now? And how can I apply this when I'm in positions of responsibility and leadership? Because at the end of the day, leadership is influence. And John Maxwell writes a book called 360-Degree Leadership. And he says, you can lead your leader. You can lead your leader. And he specifically talks about challenging leaders that you can lead. So even though I may have somebody that's responsible for me, may have a higher rank, also you're an influencer in how you show up and how you role model, in how you live the core values, and how you continue to grow and develop and learn. So take those lessons learned, and as we say, put them in our toolbox, because there will be a time that I will be able to execute and be in a position of higher responsibility. So I'll just kind of end this by saying this. When you've got that 4 to 6 years in, that is when you are really at a point where you have honed and learned and been exposed to so much in your military career. And that's when you can make the biggest quantum leaps in a military organization, if you have the right attitude, desire, drive, hunger, passion, commitment, focus, dedication to wanting to be better.
Okay, I got like 400 more questions. That was really, really good stuff. Okay, you said something in there. Lead your leader. Man, I think that's so powerful. Mm-hmm. I was told years ago, you're not always going to have the bad leader that you have at this time. Because I had a bad leader, and I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was confused. I thought, I was in here to do something good, and no matter how much I try to do something good, I'm just getting beat down, metaphorically, just getting beat down. And I wanted out. We've talked before, and there was times in your guys' career where you thought, it's time for me to hang this up. But you're still here today. Why? Because you were all those great things that you just talked about. Mm-hmm.